So today, let's talk about Dr. Gaul's 3 C's. Also, leave comments with any interesting parallels or details that you picked up on while you were reading Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and there will be spoilers ahead. So the first time I read the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, I wasn't sure I liked it, because 1, walking in Snow's shoes was not my cup of tea, and 2, I didn't like Lucy Gray's mysterious ending. But I read it again years later, and I appreciate it now. I even picked up on some new details that I missed in my first read-through. So to start, let's clarify that we are only discussing book canon because the book was a tighter, more well-established story. The movie made changes that took away from the book, as well as to the circumstances surrounding Spruce's death. So first, the new parallel that I found. The 3 C's that Dr. Gaul assigned Snow to write about, chaos, control, and contract, are mirrored in the murders that Snow commits, and in that order. Snow killed Bobbin in the arena, in a frenzy of chaos. Snow smashed Bobbin to death as he was escaping, and he admits that this moment was chaos as he writes about this C in his paper for Dr. Gaul. Chaos, from Gaul's point of view, and later Snow's, is the force that fights against the capital. Snow thinks the capital is order and structure, while the districts are forces of chaos if not controlled with a heavy hand. Grandmam told Snow, "Your own father used to say those people only drink water because it didn't rain blood." The capital perceives the district's people as being evil and animalistic. In opposition to chaos is control, and Snow believes that this is the side of the peacekeepers and the capital. District 12 provides an excellent stage upon which to watch the battle between chaos and control play out, and as a peacekeeper, I have a front row seat. When Mayfair was upset after overhearing Billy talking about how Lucy Gray was his girl and that she would go with him up north, Snow thought that Mayfair was going to report them for rebellion. If Mayfair reported them, that would align Snow with rebellion against the capital, and that terrified Snow. So he killed Mayfair to protect his future. Snow's execution of Mayfair paralleled the second C, control, because it kept Snow on the capital's side, the side of control. The third C, contract, was the agreement on Panem's laws. The laws that enabled the games, the laws that kept the districts poor as the capital bloated with wealth, the laws that stated that the capital alone could control the nation, and that the districts could not be trusted with such power. Sejanus was Snow's third kill, albeit it was more indirect than his executions of Bobbin and Mayfair, but Snow was responsible for betraying Sejanus and even went through anxiety and guilt about whether his actions would lead to Sejanus' death. He knew Sejanus, while he'd had no real history with Bobbin or Mayfair, but in the end, he decided that Sejanus' family would buy him out only to watch Sejanus die. But Sejanus' death is the parallel for the third C, contract, because Sejanus was intent on not siding with the capital. Sejanus was siding with treason against the capital, violating the contract. Even when offered the capital's grandiosities, Sejanus never accepted them, unlike his father. His home would always be District 2. While a few mentors were uncomfortable with the Hunger Games, only Sejanus had the courage to show anger at it. He couldn't be bought. He couldn't be a peacekeeper and enforce the capital's laws, so Snow decided Sejanus needed to face the consequences. Even though Snow didn't realize that the capital would kill Sejanus, Snow was the one who decided that Sejanus wasn't the right friend for him and needed to be punished. Snow was the one who had the Jabberjay record Sejanus' speech and send him in. Snow's remorse didn't last long, though, and it probably wasn't even genuine, because after he returned to the capital, he was using the Plinth family for his own gain. Snow's convictions turned unwaveringly toward the capital, and in turn he lost any sense of guilt he'd felt for Sejanus' murder because it was part of the contract. Sejanus had broken the capital's trust and would try to overthrow it. He'd attempt to violate the contract between the capital and the districts. Snow was ashamed of his first murder, and he admitted that it had transformed him, but not into anything he was proud of. He wasn't comfortable with killing in the beginning, but by the end of the book, he takes life effortlessly, as we witnessed with how he kills Highbottom. So what were your thoughts on Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes? What do you think about Dr. Gaul's 3 C's and the parallels with Snow's murders in the book? Leave comments with your thoughts. I love reading everything that you all write. And if you liked this video and you want to help it reach more Hunger Games fans, please like and subscribe and keep weaving the threads of your stories.